Good afternoon. We thank you for joining us today. In response to a complaint that has targeted Mr. Jason Haywood, a representative of the People's Campaign for Equality, Jobs, and Justice, we make the following statement. The right to free speech and freedom of expression are fundamental tenets enshrined in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, affirmed in the Bermuda Constitution, Articles 8 and 9, and supported by the European Convention on Human Rights and the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. The position of the People's Campaign for Equality, Jobs, and Justice is that this insidious action is nothing less than a flagrant attack on one of the most fundamental rights of every human being, namely the right to freedom of speech and freedom of expression. Whenever such rights are threatened, it constitutes an assault on the most basic rights in countries that purport to be democratic. This action is right out of the Reginald Gray Blind Samson playbook from a time that many Bermudians thought had long since passed. But as the adage goes, the more things change, the more things stay the same. First of all, the appearance on Let's Talk on Monday, May the 11th, 2015, was a, quote, special program sponsored by the People's Campaign for Equality, Jobs, and Justice. The People's Campaign was represented by its three principals, Reverend Nicholas Tweed, Mr. Chris Ferbert, and Mr. Jason Haywood. The purpose of the show was to make public information that the People's Campaign deemed to be in the public interest, specifically in regards to government conduct surrounding the proposed development of the L.F. Wade International Airport. We should say at the outset that singling out Mr. Jason Haywood in a shared presentation, wherein Mr. Haywood was representing the views and understanding of the People's Campaign based solely upon information that was in our possession, is a direct assault upon the fundamental human right to free speech. We believe it to be an unconscionable retaliatory act. Any action should be directed at the People's Campaign, not at a private individual, because at no time was Mr. Haywood expressing a personal or private point of view.
In addition, at no time did Mr. Haywood personally publish or otherwise make known information as a private individual, but all the information pertaining to the development of the airport was issued by the People's Campaign, and based upon documentation that was subsequently placed in the public domain and can be substantiated by evidence contained in documents that are now in the public. At no time did the People's Campaign, and specifically Mr. Jason Haywood, make any false statements in respect to the airport development and the respective role of the government, its ministers, and the civil servants played in the public presentation of the project. All statements that were made have been made are statements that we believe to be based upon factual evidence, and all are true and can be corroborated by documents that can be immediately verified. At no time were statements made by the People's Campaign, or Mr. Haywood in particular, with the intent or desire to malign, undermine, or otherwise damage the character of Mr. E.T. Bob Richards. Rather, all statements made were in respect to the conduct of the Deputy Premier, Minister of Finance as a representative of the Bermuda government, and questioning the policies and practices conducted on its behalf. Such practices and policies are revealed in the documents obtained under the petty legislation in Canada, along with public statements made in Bermuda and are now widely reported in Bermuda media, and additional statements recorded on the Hansard, the official record of the House of Assembly, specifically but not limited to the development of the airport.